Valis Undermind update, we have gotten the fun guy, Warframe Nokko, and honestly, he is one of the best frames introduced this year and probably last year. I am in love with this Warframe. We have nuking, damage out the wazoo, one-shotting even acolytes. We have survivability, 2 builds for you guys, everything that you would want in a Warframe. So, without any more delays, let's quickly hop into today's video. Warframe is our 62nd Warframe in the game, and I do have to say, what a beautiful number for such a beautiful frame. As I said at the beginning, I'm in love with the base frame himself. We have 2 builds today. We have one base build with no helmet system introduced, no helmet abilities, and the second build is going to be with 1 helmet ability, and honestly, you don't need anything more with a Warframe like this. So, before we do start the video, I want to cover the fashion frame. This is what he looks like. We have the colors, the attachments, and also the sandana that I use. I do love his aesthetic. I do have to say our mushroom boy looks incredibly good. What would be incredibly good as well is you guys hitting that subscribe bell icon. I'm trying to reach 23,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so hopefully I can do it with your guys' support, and it's always appreciated greatly by me. And also, leave a like on the video if you do like the video itself. So let's quickly hop into his passive being that when he takes lethal damage, he's gonna turn into a small little sporling, and you are gonna quickly run around and try to find a spore, your first or your second ability, and we'll talk about that in just a second, and you can basically revive yourself with that. If you have none active, then you pretty much can't revive yourself. One of the coolest features of this ability is it actually works in natural cells as well. One of the rare abilities that you can revive yourselves in natural cells, meaning you don't actually have to lose the mission instantly when you die. And believe me, you're honestly not gonna die with either one of the builds in today's video. So we're gonna move on to the first ability, Stinkbrain. Stinkbrain, you can place 4 of these mushrooms and they are gonna pulsate viral damage with a guaranteed viral status effect. These are going to be incredibly good because after a short time, they're gonna put enemies to sleep, making them vulnerable to finishers as well. Now, this does have a little bit of a synergy with your other abilities, but we will get into those when we get to those abilities. One more cool thing about Stinkbrain is you can actually use it to jump, and it's also gonna boost your double jump height as well, making you bounce around all over the place, as you might be seeing in the gameplay in the background. And now, let's move on to the second ability, Bright Bonnet. Now, Bright Bonnet, first of all, when you throw the ability, is gonna do a little bit of damage, stagger the enemies, and once you are near this ability, you and your allies within a certain range, 15 meters at the base, are gonna get energy and are also gonna get ability strength for a short duration. You can place a maximum of 2 of these, and if you jump on them, they're gonna pulsate much faster and refresh the duration, meaning you can pretty much jump on them all of the time to keep your ability strength and gain as much energy as humanly possible. Again, jumping on them is gonna increase your jump height and increase your double jump height as well, which is going to be very good. And there is going to be a synergy a little bit later on, but we want to cover the third ability, Reroot. Reroot is gonna turn you into a small sportling, and you will become invulnerable to damage, you become invisible as well, and immune to status effects. Now, one thing that you want to keep in mind, you do not cleanse your status effects, you only become immune whilst you're in this form for a short duration. You do also gain health and shields, and you can find little spores scattered around the map where you have turned into a sporling. Picking them up will give you a speed boost and increase your health and shields much faster, which is going to be incredibly good. One of the cool features about this is Arcane Crepuscular can be used with this ability as well, because you are invisible whilst you're in this form, but you cannot use any weapons. But I'll talk about how that comes into play in just a second, and that second is now. His fourth ability, Sporespring. Sporespring will launch a maximum of 3 balls that bounce up a maximum of 10 times, dealing toxin damage with a guaranteed status effect. And each time they do pulsate, they bounce onto enemies, and they do have critical chance and critical damage as well, which does increase per bounce, which is going to be incredibly good. They do work on exhibited bosses as well, which is going to be quite good, and they do have infinite punch through to reach their target, which is incredibly good. Now, where does the synergy come in? Now, if you throw this ball randomly and you have Stinkbrain or Bright Bonnet quite nearby, it is gonna permanently reduce their pulse to 1.5 seconds, and it's gonna double Bright Bonnet's ability strength, which is going to be incredibly good. You are going to be able to reach millions and millions of toxin damage with this ability, and this ability clears out entire rooms and acolytes alike, as you may have seen at the beginning of the video, sometimes even one-shotting them. What's gonna help you to one-shot those enemies as well is going to be the first build that is up on screen right now. This is my non-Helminth build, and in the ore slot we have Growing Power alongside Cunning Drift. We have Archon Continuity, which is going to be incredibly good because every time you proc a Toxin proc, it's also gonna proc Corrosive. We have Transient Fortitude, Umbral Intensify, we have Blind Rage, we have Adaptation, Stretch, Equilibrium, and Primed Flow, or alongside Arcane Blessing and Molt Augmented. Now, where does Arcane Crepuscular come in handy? You can switch out Arcane Blessing for either Arcane that you really want to, but you can utilize, as I mentioned, Arcane Crepuscular, throw your 4th or 3 of your 4ths, and then turn into your Reroot form, because of course this is the non-Helminth build, and the damage is gonna be increased by the 3x multiplier that you gain, and also your power strength is gonna get increased as well, which is going to be incredibly good and is going to make you do even more damage. Now, if you're interested in a Helminth build that's going to be incredibly good as well, this is it up on screen right now. Here we utilize Roar, we have a Brief Respite in the aura, and we have Rolling Guard instead of Adaptation alongside Arcane Barrier. Now, if you're not a fan of Arcane Barrier or just don't have it, Arcane Aegis is going to be the better alternative that you can utilize as well. This is going to increase your shield recharge rate instead of fully recharging your shield, so either or is going to be incredibly good. I found Arcane Barrier to be just a tad bit more useful in my gameplay style, but it is completely up to you. The Helminth ability of choice, as I mentioned, is going to be Roar. Roar is going to be incredibly good, increasing the damage of your weapons and your abilities as well, alongside your second ability, which makes this Warframe do even bigger damage numbers with your 4th ability. And who doesn't love seeing big, and I do mean big, red crit damage numbers on their screen? And now let's talk about the Archon Shards of choice. In the Archon Shards of choice, we have 2 Tauforge green ones, which are gonna increase our toxin status effect damage by a total of 90%. And we also do have a yellow Tauforged Archon Shard, which is gonna increase our casting speed. And as you may see, 2 empty slots. In these 2 empty slots, you can put whatever is to your liking. You can put in, for example, 2 green ones that are going to increase your maximum stacks of corrosive, but in my gameplay, honestly, that is not needed because the damage of your 4th is going to kill them before you can stack up even 5 stacks of corrosive. You can place on red Archon Shards if you want, and you can mix and match here. So I left it out empty, and this is the build that you see throughout the gameplay, these shards, and I don't honestly think you need anything more. But if you want just a little bit of more casting speed and power strength, the focus school of choice is going to be Madurai, and here we utilize power transfer, which is going to increase your casting speed by 50% when you transfer from your operator to your Warframe, and we have sling strength, which is going to be incredibly good because it's going to give you 40% power strength when you void sling a couple of times with your operator and then switch back to your Warframe. It is not necessary, but you could utilize it all the same. And now, weapons of choice. We honestly have only one weapon here, and this is primarily to prime enemies, I guess, but it's not really needed, and also for shield gating as well. We have the Epitaph. The Epitaph prime build is up on screen right now. We have a little bit of boosted shield gating here with Augur Pact, fact an Augur Seeker, which is going to help us out with our shield regeneration as well when you utilize abilities. And of course, it is a primer, so we have corrosive, magnetic, radiation, heat, and of course, a secondary cover, proccing even more random status effects. But I rarely used my weapon in the gameplay, and even when I did, it didn't really help me out a lot because your fourth ability just decimates everything. And now, the companion of choice, Nautilus and Helsham. Nautilus is going to be incredibly good, dragging enemies in with Cordon. We do have Synth Deconstruct, we have Mystic Bond, Contagion Bond, Manifold Bond, Guardian as well, which is going to recharge your shields occasionally, which is going to be incredibly good for either or build. And of course, the Helsham, the weapon of choice. Here we have Magnetic, we have Gas, Radiation, and Cold, which is going to be incredibly good for priming those enemies passively and making Cordon proc even more alongside Manifold Bond and Contagion Bond as well. And now, how are you supposed to play the fun guy Warframe? First of all, I always place down my 2 bright bonnets. I gain a little bit of energy, power strength as well, and then place down your 4 Stinkbrains. I would honestly place them somewhere near each other, but you don't have to place them too near each other because we have decent range on today's build. And then just cast your 4th ability, Sporespring, and cast it 3 times. You're gonna see it bounce around slowly, dealing yellow, orange, and then massive red crit damage. Now, if you do get into a sticky situation, use Reroot, and if you're utilizing Arcane Crepuscular, once you throw down your 3 Sporesprings, then turn into your reroute form so the balls actually do increase critical damage as well, which is gonna be so good. That is, again, if you're utilizing Arcane Crepuscular instead of Arcane Blessing. And if you're utilizing the Brief Respite or Shield Gaining build, pretty much because you don't have your 3rd ability, you do have Rolling Guard, you have Roar again, and you have your other abilities. Just keep casting your abilities and you're pretty much gonna be alive most of the time. Now, I've noticed that bouncing around all over the place and being airborne does make you survive a little bit more because the enemies can't really aim for you precisely, so I guess that is a little bit of a tip that I can give you guys as well. Try not to stick to the ground that much. Plus, it is much more enjoyable to jump around like crazy with this guy, so I would highly recommend you do that as well. And now, that is basically it. I am quite interested in what you guys think of Nokko. I am incredibly happy, and I am so satisfied that he is incredibly good. I do have that lingering feeling that he might get nerfed, but hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers here, DE doesn't touch him, because we have Warframes such as Sevagoth, Revenant, other Warframes that can literally nuke instantly, like Nezha for example as well, and this doesn't seem too overpowered, at least in my opinion, but I guess only time will tell. Do comment down below on what you think of the builds, do comment down on what you think of Nokko as well. As I mentioned, leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell icon as well, and this has been your lovely host, the Gaming Weasel, over and out.